Good morning.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Good morning, ma'am.
Morning, ma'am.
Yeah. So how was your prologue assignment?
It was a bit difficult. It's tough, ma'am.
Okay.
It was interesting.
Interesting, difficult, very nice. No, I want mixed emotions only. It's not, it won't be, if everybody says it's easy, then it is probably going to be not working out. Okay, you will have more of these assignments only. So try to patch up with prologue. Today notes taking will be by Arunesh, roll number 18, and Nitin Benjamin, 88. And evaluation will be by roll number 12 and 102, Anirudh and Rinish.
Okay, ma'am.
Is there? Both?
Yes,
All
ma'am.
four of
Yes, ma'am. I am Anirudh is present.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. This is Arunesh, ma'am. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we will go to the next topic, which is agents. We are dwelling on this for some time, but I just want you to get a look and feel of the difference between AI and ML, because even people who have done a course on ML are still confused on AI after repeatedly saying AI is more than ML. ML is one component of AI, or AI's automation comes from ML, okay, comes through a machine learning algorithm. Anyway, we're looking at agents. So when you talk about AI, we talked about it is going to have multiple, it's going to be like an agent, okay, which has got things to perceive and things to give it to the environment. So they are called as sensors and actuators. So that is trying to be, okay, you can probably now think of the agent to have, or the AI can be thought of as an rational agent to have sensors and actuators, okay, and it captures information from the sensor, give it back to the environment through the actuators. To make sense of this sensed information, it uses ML algorithm. Okay, to make sense of that, and you use the ML algorithm, and the output of the ML algorithm is given to the environment through the actuators. So you can think of this particular perspective. So AI you can think of as a black box, okay, which will have some sensing information, which will sense the environment, and then when it senses the environment, it tries to use that information, processes it, okay, while processing that, that is where your representation reasoning comes into picture. The reasoning is done using your machine learning algorithm, and the output of the machine learning algorithm is given back to the environment through the actuators. So you can think of that scenario. So here, this is what is an agent. I just gave it as a different scenario. So you have algorithms here. These algorithms are your machine learning algorithms, which will basically be used. Okay. So the agent function typically here is a function that maps from the perceived information to the corresponding action and gives it to the environment through the actuators. So you can think of an agent as an architecture plus program. So let us try to get something like the vacuum cleaner world. So supposing, say, the vacuum cleaner is there, it has got only two sections. One is the left section and the other one is the right section. And it has got only two operations. One is called as the suck operation and the other one is a no operation. So what is the scenario is, if it sees a dirt, it will suck. If it is not seeing any, if it is perceiving dirt, it will suck. If it is perceiving nothing, it will simply keep quiet. So that is going to be your action. So the percepts here, okay, when you look at some kind of a machine to be available here, you can think of this as there is a circular robo clean which is available. I think I told you already about this product available in the market. So which will basically go in a rectangle square of from in a square environment. It will start from a particular coordinate. It will go forward, it will come backward, it will go forward, come backward, etc. till the complete room is clean, till the coordinates are basically completely clean. Supposing it finds an obstacle, okay, in between, if it finds an obstacle in between, what happens is, if the obstacle is very small, which can be sucked, it will try to take it in as though it is going to be dirt, even if it is going to be, say, a gold coin. Okay, it will not know it's a gold coin. According to it, it is able to take it inside, so it will suck and then call it as a dirt. Supposing you have a huge waste paper carton available here, a box, a carton paper box available here. Even though it is dirt, it will say it is not dirt, it will try to just go around it. So that is what basically happens. Now we talk about this scenario. It's a percepts are the location and the contents. Example, I can say A comma dirty. So supposing I have here only two sections. Only one is A, other one is B. There is a left half and the right half of a particular environment. So the percepts are location and contents. Example, I can define this. This is my representation. I can call this as A comma dirty. And if I am in a particular location, it will do the operation as suck or no operation, depending upon whether I am basically see a dirt or no dirt. Okay, so this is a simple scenario called as the vacuum cleaner world. We can try this example with some other situation also, which I will talk about it on Wednesday. So we have here what is called as a rational agent. Okay, so we said that you have to, you are working about designing a AI algorithm that is going to be acting rationally. Okay, so we are talking about actually a rational agent here. Okay, other than some other agents are also available. We'll talk about all those things as we move on. So we talk about a rational agent here. A rational agent is one who does the right thing. Okay, conceptually speaking, every entry in the table for the agent function is filled out correctly. So even in case of uncertainty, it is basically going to do the correct thing. Okay, even if it is going to be a simple task, it is going to do the correct thing. So a rational agent is what we are trying to define, and the rational agent is one who does the right thing at all points of time. So, so here what it says is the right action is the one that can cause the agent to be the most successful. So the performance measure for this particular scenario is you have a objective criterion for the success of an agent's behavior. Now this is what we have to define. So how do I define the performance measure? Can I define it as a function of some arguments of the various perceived information? Can I define it like that? That is how, okay, the performance measure definition is going to be a huge task. For example, in the case of this vacuum cleaner scenario, supposing say if it will amount to the amount of dirt cleaned up, okay, amount of time taken, amount of electricity consumed, and amount of noise generated. So you can define this performance measure P as a function of these four parameters: amount of dirt cleaned, amount of time taken, amount of electricity consumed, and noise generated. Okay, and you can also say number of moves basically made. How many left and right moves did it basically move? Okay, so how did it handle the obstacle? Okay, did it differentiate the obstacle from the dirt? All these could be performance measures which can be evaluated as a function. To very simply put it, I can say dirt. Now, how do you evaluate a kambali basically? Okay, a servant maid. So has she cleaned it properly or not? Okay, there might be slight variations. We accept it as a human error. Okay, because you would have probably not looked at, or there could be some wind blowing, all those things. The same thing can be applicable to the rational agent as well. So a rational agent is basically one who does the right thing at all points of time, and to evaluate the rational agent, you normally go in for a performance measure. So for here, the rational agent basically, for each possible percept sequence, it should select an action that is expected to maximize its performance. So for example, in this scenario, you have a square box, you have a square area to be cleaned, and supposing say you, should I go left, or should I do a scan like this as a snake-like pattern, or what? How do I do it? Or should I go diagonally? How do I do it basically? So number of moves, and that will consume more electricity. If it basically goes from diagonal to diagonal, again goes back without doing anything, comes back here from diagonal to diagonal. If it goes like that, okay, that is in one path it will simply keep quiet, other path only it is supposed to take the dirt. That's going to be consuming more time as well as more electricity. That is why we have here the amount of time taken, amount of electricity consumed also as parameters. Amount of noise generated. So should it be silent or should it give you an indication that it is basically sucking the dirt? Okay, all those will basically add to your situation. So here that is going to define your agent slightly better, in the sense that our rational agent is one who basically should select an action. Okay, should select an action. Okay, and that is expected to maximize its performance, which will maximize its performance, okay, at all points of time, given the evidence provided by the percept sequence and whatever built-in knowledge the agent basically has. So this is the proper definition of the rational agent. We have been talking about saying like who does the right thing at all points of time, etc. But this is the more concise and precise definition of the rational agent. That is, for each percept sequence, possible percept sequence, a rational agent was one should select an action that is expected to maximize its performance given the evidence provided by the percept sequence and whatever built-in knowledge the agent basically has. So in continuation with this particular topic, so what is involved in the agent basically? So the ability to interact with the real world. So it says it should select the evidence, given the evidence provided by the percept sequence and whatever built-in knowledge the agent basically has. In order to support this particular argument, we need to define what is an intelligent agent and based upon these parameters. Okay, so here the ability to interact with the real world. So how do I interact with the real world? To perceive, understand and act. So to perceive you need sensors, to understand you need to have some kind of a representation and algorithm, and to act you again need some kind of a representation to representation and algorithm. So for example here, speech recognition and understanding and synthesis. So this we already talked about enough times. That is, you perceive from an environment. Supposing I speak to a robo, okay, I mean we have been talking about with this with Alexa and OK Google and things like that, right? So OK Google, think of scenario that can basically happen in an OK Google situation. So OK Google, play A.R. Rahman hits, okay, or you can even say OK Google, volume low, okay, reduce the volume. So it is trying to capture this information through the microphone. It is available with it, and then it is trying to make sense of this spoken word and then tries to answer it back. So you can even say hear this Alexa or the OK Google trying to answer you saying that sorry, I cannot find this answer for you. Okay, how does it basically do? It does all the computation, it does all the search, etc., and comes back to you saying that it is not able to find the results. So you say in Google search, results unknown, right? That is what it's trying to find out back. Image understanding. Okay, this is a very important aspect as far as biomedical and biometrics are concerned. Okay, so you are trying to find out how much is this a person or not. In fact, we did one work on visual recognition for visually challenged ATM. Okay, automatic teller machine. Supposing a visually challenged person goes and wants to take money, how do I basically tell it? Okay, so you need a machine to capture the face of the person. The face will act as the identity card or the debit card or whatever, and then the person, after identifying it as this particular person, this person can say the PIN number, okay, or you can have Braille letters PIN, okay. But of course, if you have Braille, you need somebody to go and look at what is to be typed. So we had a design of saying the PIN number orally, okay. So once the PIN number is said orally, then it is going to be captured. Of course, you need to be in a secure environment. So the machine should perceive that you are a secure environment. So we kind of tested this in a closed situation, so we didn't have to bother about that much. So you have to say that, say the PIN number. The PIN number will be validated, and you compare it with the person's face, and then you try to check how much money you want. You just prompt all the transactions. He can withdraw money, he can deposit money, whatever, and then he can. We didn't do deposit. We just said bank statement as well as withdrawing money only. So those two only we try to attempt. Okay, it's a combination of image and speech recognition aspects. So that is one scenario. And in order to interact with the external world, you need knowledge representation, reasoning and planning. So the model of the external world should be given as input to the user. So for this example, you need to give coordinates of this particular room in terms of A and B, and then saying it's going to be a second, a right half. So if you probably had taken a look at this demo of this Robo, I forgot the name, Robo Clean or something like that is the name. So in that case, you have to say it, the coordinates of the hall. Okay, so that should be given to the user. So here what it says is modeling the external world, that is to be given as input. So that is your knowledge representation. And then you need to solve new problems, planning and making decisions, and ability to deal with unexpected problems and uncertainties. Now these are involved in the intelligent agents, where supposing, say, that is why in machine learning algorithms, what we do is when you're trying to talk about some kind of a patient diagnostic system or some kind of a spam ham classification system, 80% alone you give the data to the user, to the machine for training. Okay, so this 20% is for testing. So the machine has not seen this particular data. You cannot give all 100% and make the machine aware of all the available data. So it should be able to find out the scenario for an unseen data. So once you map a proper representation, you'll be in a position to play with making decisions on unseen data also. And learning and adaptation. So you are continuously learning and adapting. The typical internal models are always being updated. So for example, you would have seen in movies, right? Neural schemas getting updated because of a new functionality, etc., etc. So that is because you have a new concept to be done, and that should be updated in the brain of the AI machine. So the brain of the AI machine is that is actually something like your kernel. Okay, it will have all the algorithms necessary to perceive, decide and act. So that should be involved in the agents. So to implement agent, you can try to go in for a table lookup approach, or you can have autonomy. All actions are completely specified. No need in sensing, no autonomy. Example, monkey and the banana. Okay, so here table lookup, where you just say what action do you perform, do you do if you see this particular scenario, or what action will you perform if you see. So you try to do all possible combinations. Now this is a very primitive agent. Okay, this is not possible nowadays. This can be possible only for some vacuum cleaner example. Okay, and autonomy, you specify the actions also along with the situation, but that is not what we want. We want a learning agent who can adapt to situations. So in that scenario, your agent type can basically be one of the followings. It could be a medical diagnostic agent, or image analysis agent, or a part picking robo, or an interactive English tutor, or a cooking agent, or a taxi driver. Anything is basically possible. So let us come back to the vacuum cleaner world. This is a very simple agent, which is actually something like a part picking robo agent only. So what we do here is we will try to have two situations. One is the left half and the right half. So the left half will be A comma dirty, and the right half will be, it starts with the scenario A comma dirty. So this section A is dirty and the machine is available here. These are the 4 operations that we are trying to look at. So autonomy is basically, if you give a new environment also, the agent should be in a position to decide and act. Okay, so supposing it can work only with already known environment, it is lacking autonomy. So once you give information, once you have, you say that the agent has autonomy, which means that the agent can basically act on a new environment as well. Okay. So how do I do that? That's a very simple, I mean, that is what we try to give it. So it should be able to build the coordinates of a house, of a rectangular square. If it just give the diagonal positions alone, okay, it should be able to build that. It is going to be a huge room consisting of the following coordinates with the length and dimension, length and width and diagonal something. And supposing, say, you also have some furniture in between, it should be able to sense that you have the furniture. If it can do all these things, it is called as an autonomy, agent with autonomy. So there is one more terminology called as omniscience. Omniscience, learning, and autonomy are the three characteristics that you are normally targeting an agent to have. So in the omniscience situation, it knows the actual outcome of an action. Okay, it knows an actual outcome of an action that is basically carried out. So here, for example, let's take a traffic situation example. So it knows that if it sees a red, it has to stop, okay, and if it sees green, it has to go, provided the previous vehicle is not, I mean, the vehicle in front of it, if there is one, is already started moving. So this is called as an omniscience behavior. But the determined action is what? Once it sees a red light, it has to basically stop. Okay, irrespective of whether the previous person stop or the following person stop, doesn't matter. So it will try to stop as and when it is trying to be available. Then in the learning or the exploration based scenario is, you will try to gather information about the environment. Okay, you will try to gather information about the environment by using your percepts. Now the percept is, supposing, say, I have this vacuum cleaner example. It has got two cameras, okay, and the cameras will try to capture the complete environment, and your algorithm should try to convert this camera captured information into a rectangle of coordinates with all furniture, etc. available. So that is called as the learning agent. And autonomy agent is, it can have a combination of these two. It can decide as well as act. Okay. So supposing a new furniture is coming into picture, it can basically try to explore that furniture also and try to act on the furniture. Now, this is a simple vacuum cleaner agent where you basically have so this is a simple reflex agent. Supposing you have a percept sequence A comma clean, okay, A is left, okay, so the action is move right. So supposing you have A comma dirty, then the action is going to be suck. Supposing B comma clean, that is the right half is clean, then you basically move left. Supposing B comma dirty is there, you suck. Supposing A comma clean followed by A comma clean, so you have two sequences of A comma clean, then you try to move right. A comma clean, A comma dirty, you try to suck. So you can have basically so many combinations available, and this is actually what is called as a reflex agent. So if I have a reflex agent, I can do that, and I have so many types of agents. We'll talk about that now. So the function is called as the reflex vacuum agent, which will probably take a location and a status, and it returns an action. So if status is equal to dirty, then you can suck the dirt, and else if location is equal to A, then return right. Else if location is equal to B, then return left. That is going to be your situation. That is, you are trying to modify this scenario. Use this argument. Use this as an argument, and then do the action accordingly. So There is also a table driven. This is a reflex agent. There is also a table driven agent. So which can basically go with something like this. It is similar to the previous one only. So the function is table driven. Now we said table driven if it has got the lookup table kind of scenario to have all the possible actions and percepts. So in a table driven scenario, you have only the percept which is captured as input and it returns an action. Okay, so the percept sequence is initially empty. Okay, and your table will basically have a table of actions. It will have a table of actions, okay, which is indexed by the percept sequence. Okay, so this is available in the function. So you can once you perceive something, you append percept, the newly captured percept, to the end of percepts as a queue. Okay, and action will be you do a lookup in the table on the percept comma table. So this is the table available here. Percept is initially empty. As you capture the percept, you try to give it, keep appending to the queue, and the action will basically be whatever you are looking at, that will be returned back to the user. So this is actually a table driven agent. You have actually the various types of agents available are simple reflex agent, that is what we have talked about in the previous scenario. It's a reflex, right? So what is a reflex? Somebody hits you or somebody tries to hit you, you just bend and then try to turn your face or hand or whatever to avoid getting hit. Okay, so that is what this basically sees. If it sees dirt, it will stop. If it doesn't see dirt, it will go to the right and find out whether it has got any dirt on the other half. Okay, so depending upon the location, it will go left or right. So that is what we talk about, simple reflex agent. The second one is called as the model based reflex agent. Is called as the model based reflex agent. The third one is called as the goal based reflex agent or goal based agent. And the last one is called as utility based agents. It's called as utility based agents. So in the simple reflex agent, this is the representation. So you have a set of condition, action, rules, okay, and you sense from the environment, you perceive something here, and based upon the perceived scenario, it will find out how is the environment. Based upon the environment, it will find out what action should I do. It will refer to this and then gives it back to the environment, actuators. Okay, so this is a simple reflex agent, which is what we have seen here. That is, if you see a dirt, you basically carry out an action. Okay, when you before seeing dirt, it should find out the environment, capture that, processes it as dirt, and then tries to do it. Again, as I said, it will not be able to differentiate a gold coin from a piece of say dirt available on the floor. Okay, so it will capture something which is an intruder. Okay, that's what it tries to find out, and that is called as a simple reflex agent. So it has this condition action rule available in this scenario. So if this is the condition, what action should I basically carry out? That is available, and that is based upon looking at this particular set of action condition combination, it will give the result to the environment. The next one, to give an example of the automated driving car. Okay, if supposing the previous vehicle is, if I see a red light in the previous, in the vehicle in front of me, I try to also brake. Okay, so environment is what? You are sensing the environment as the previous vehicle, and I see red light. I will then, action will basically be a brake action. Okay, so the previous vehicle has got no red, then I will continue to drive. Okay, so I can have more environment sense scenarios and then try to apply my simple reflex agent. So okay, there are issues in this actually. How many actions will you perceive? How many input can you perceive? And what action can I have? A combination of actions? Can I have two actions done one after the other? All these are problems with respect to the simple reflex agent. Then the next one is called as the model-based reflex agent. It's called model-based reflex agent, where there is again going to be environment here. Okay, and again the sensors will be used to capture how is the environment. Okay, and in order to sense this environment in the model based, so it will try to update something called as a state. Okay, and it will also have history of the environment and what actions was also carried out. So it will update the state based upon how the environment is looking like now and what already has happened in these particular situations, and what action was carried out in those situations will also be given as input, and based on that it will decide what action should I do now, again using a set of condition action rules. And then this is given as actuators to the environment. So let us get this example right. This is called as a reflex agent. It is not a simple reflex agent. The difference is basically the maintaining the history of these surrounding, maintaining the history of the actions, maintaining and updating the history as and when we are trying to capture. This is called as a model-based reflex agent. Now, I can give you an example in real life of how this is basically carried out. Okay. Now, take Google Maps. Okay, can somebody try mapping this? I don't hear any noise. There was somebody coughing in between at least. Now it is completely blank. So can you map this to Google Maps? The model-based reflex agent. Okay, maybe I can give you the pseudo code. You can try to get this. The model-based reflex agent perceives something and returns action. It has state, which is the current environment condition. It will have a model which is a description of the state and the actions already carried out, set of rules, some standard rules, okay? Condition and action, and action that should be carried out. So what you do is you perceive something from the environment. So look at this model, it will update the state first. So state is updated with, update state with this new state, action, percept, and the model. And then you give, the rule will be, call a rule match function for the state and the corresponding rules. And then action, you look at the condition action rule. For this rule, what is the action? Now, when you come back to Google Maps, you start from a particular your place, okay, and you want to travel some 2 hours or something like that. You put your destination and then you put your starting point, and then it will try to give you a route, and it will also find out the route whether it is going to be crowded with 3 colors, red, green, and orange, right? So it will give you 3 colors. Now, suddenly as you are driving, it probably gives you a green, complete green at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning, that you, from your starting point to destination point, it is completely green, you can go in 2 hours. That's what it gives. But suddenly what happens is, after you crossed half an hour or so, one section of your route is getting clogged with traffic. So what it does, it gives you an update that this area is now red. It's not green anymore, it's getting red. While it is getting clogged, you would have probably observed that you'll also change it to orange. So this is a classic example of a model-based reflex agent. It is not an agent per se, it is not acting, but it is getting some information, it is perceiving information which is nothing but the traffic information, and it is giving back to the environment. What is it giving back here? It is giving back that your route is going to be changing, it is clogged, it is not performing any action per se, but it is getting you the scenario that it is going to be a action which is it is getting red, that the sense that it is clogged, the traffic is no longer green, is going to be your carrier. So update state will do what? It will perceive, it will know that if it has got so many vehicles, or if the speed of each vehicle is going to be only some 10 kilometers an hour or some 20 kilometers an hour, it will know that it is going to be a slow traffic, okay, rather than 60 kilometers an hour. Okay, so that is getting updated here, and you try to do a rule-based match. Rule-based matches, should I give a red color or a green color or a yellow color? Red, green or orange color. It will try to update the match, and then it will carry out the action, which is going to be giving a orange color to the route. So this is a simple example of a model-based reflex agent, which is trying to show you the outcome of a traffic in a particular between 2 points of interest. Okay. So can you give me another example of this? Are you able to coordinate this example? Are you able to comprehend this example first of all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Only one person is answering. I hear the same yes sound.
Yes, ma'am.
Where is the history of movement is like.
Enama?
history of movement you said.
Pardon?
That history of environment, like how is it like verifying it? It has like traffic
History
on
of?
the
History
previous
of?
actions it has taken. How it is related here in Google Map MS?
Yeah, it'll probably have it as supposing number of vehicles in a if the vehicle speed is one parameter, okay. If it is between 10 and 20 kilometer speed, I will have to give it as red. 20 to 40 kilometer speed, I will probably have to give it as orange. 40 to 60 kilometers, I have to probably give it as green. Okay, majority of the vehicles, not only one vehicle or two vehicles. One person might be going slow, or he might be on a different vehicle. So, for example, one person might be going on an auto rickshaw, one person might be going on a car, or a bus, public transport. So, depending upon multiple scenarios, it will decide what action should basically be carried out. So it is not only one option. The state action will basically depend upon multiple situations.
Okay.
So what is another example which you can think of?
Can we say something like self-driving cars?
Yes. Okay.
So
Self-driving car. Yes.
in that there initially they will have many cars which will be manually driven by drivers. So since each car is driven by a different driver, they will have their own style. So each model will have a history of their style and then share it with each other. So it will basically build a model or something from that, because different drivers they will move through different parts of the city, right? So it will learn to maneuver different parts of the city very easily that way.
Yes. So you can also give it to the environment in the sense that you should try to maneuver in high traffic, low traffic, normal, medium traffic, etc. That is also should be learnt. Okay. In a high traffic, you should not be driving at 20 kilometer speed. In a low traffic, you should not be driving at 20 kilometer speed. Similarly, in a high traffic, you should not be running at 80 kilometer speed. So those will be updated in the state, okay, as you perceive. So that is how the model gets basically built. Any other example? Any other example? Any other example, yeah? Somebody can think of any example?
Ma'am, I have a question actually, if my example is correct. So if we consider some content recommendation algorithm like Quora's algorithm, which suggests us answers, so could I think of that as a more model-based reflex agent, or is it something completely different?
No, you tell me, how do you map?
Okay, so it is going to curate the content based on which answers I upvote, whose answers I see, whether I blocked someone or muted some topic, and there are also a lot more factors like spaces and other things. So
See, content-based recommendation, if it is going to look at only content-based recommendation, okay?
yes,
Content in the sense that it is already looking some answers and then trying to recommend you something,
correct.
okay? Then it is model-based only, model-based recommendation only. If it is collaborative, then it is something more. You know what's a collaborative recommendation, right? A collaborative recommendation looks at similarity between two people. Content based looks at only history of a particular scenario. So in your case, it's going to be only history. So I can look at that as a model based agent.
Okay.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am. Got it.
The next one, yeah. Next one is a goal based agent. Now this is similar to the model based agent only, but it also uses goal as one of the parameters to do its task. So for example, the same block, whatever we had with respect to model based, will be available here also. This is your environment. It senses, it should say what is the environment like, and then it updates the state, updates the actions, update the world, These three are same as in the previous case only. And here it will also say there is one difference. It will say here, if I do action A, how will that impact? If I do action A, how will that impact? Because it's a goal-based agent. So you should try to reach the goal. Okay. For example, you are trying to do a winning scenario. You are trying to do a tic-tac-toe game, and that's a typical goal-based agent because victory is your goal. Okay. So you should not do an action that is going to be suiting the environment, which is going to lead you to a loss. So what will happen if I do action A will be answered, and then it will do an action. It will try to evaluate multiple actions based upon the goals. Okay, so this is the modification. So rather than having condition and action rules, of course, goals will have condition and action rules also. Along with that, what is the actual goal will also be available here. And depending upon that, it will try to do an action. So let us take this same example. If you convert this Google Map example to a goal-based agent, how will that look like? Or what will happen? What will happen? Supposing you see a red traffic light in one area, okay? I mean red road, that is it's completely clogged. You probably do an alternate route, okay? And you have to, before taking the alternate route, you should find out in the map, can this lead you to a destination at the same time? Okay, you are okay with compromising on time or something of that nature, but it should not go back, it should not lead you to going backwards. Okay, so that is going to be your action if you try to do if you try to model your Google Maps as a goal-based agent. Okay, so if I do action A, what will happen? That will be your that should be your question to be answered. Ultimate aim is what? To reach the goal. The goal is what? Somewhere you have to do probably 1 hour or 1 hour or some 90 minutes of drive more compared to what you started from. It should not increase the drive time too much because you are taking the alternate route. Okay, it should probably have the same time or slightly more, which you can compromise with respect to driving at a faster speed compared to getting stuck on traffic. That should be your goal-based agent. So when you try to map this to the example, whatever one of you said as say automated vehicles, driving vehicles, just because, okay, you would have probably seen, I'll come back to this example in a minute, you would have probably seen some people driving on the road. They will somehow overtake you and then go forward, etc. But ultimately, they will be standing in front of you in a signal and you will be just behind them. So what is the point in just overtaking you for one stretch and then again reaching at the same point? That should not be the case. Similarly here, when you do an automated driving, automated driving cars, you should, autonomous driving vehicles, you should probably ensure that you will overtake only if necessary. If two of you are driving at the same speed, then there is no point in overtake. There is no necessity to overtake because ultimately there is a speed limit. There will be a sequence of signals, etc. So therefore, you are not supposed to overtake. So that should be your action. So that is a goal-based agent. And supposing if you overtake, okay, you might end up in some kind of a accident or whatever. So that should be avoided. So here, even in autonomous vehicles, when you try to take an alternate path, okay, to just reach the goal, reach the destination faster, are you actually reaching the destination faster should be your question to be answered. Okay, so goal-based agents are just modifications to the model-based reflex agent, which is trying to add goal also as a parameter in deciding what action should basically be carried out. The last one is called as the utility-based agent. Okay, so so here I will get you there is something called as an user experience, right? So what if you sit on the road and then sit on a vehicle which is driven automatically, and then you are going to be just doing a roller coaster in the vehicle? You will not have the experience, right? It should probably comfortably take you to to your destination from your source point. That is called as a utility based agent. So you have a comfort feel or a comfortable experience, or it will make you happy going in that particular vehicle. You should not be saying that, okay, Baba, I will never ever travel in an autonomous car. That should not be the situation. So that is called as an utility based agent. So in addition to the goal, in addition to the model, okay, this will also have a experience, a nice experience as compared to the which is an additional component in addition to the goal as well as in the model. So here the same environment is perceived, the same state, the same actions, the same environment capture, which is given back to the user again. State is also modified. Okay. So what will happen if I do action A? Will it make the person feel uncomfortable will be your question. So the utility value is also added in order to take action A. And then that is sensed and given to the environment. So this is the addition to the learning agent. So it will try to do this, and the goal-based agents and utility-based agents work by doing lot of searching and planning. So I said, right, in the goal-based agent, if I take an alternate route. Okay, I am going here this far. This section is completely traffic filled. So can I take an alternate route? If I do an alternate route, will I reach the destination, or I should not take this route? This is not correct. So this is not going to be a goal-based agent. This will be a goal-based agent. So it will involve lot of searching and lot of planning. It will involve a lot of searching, a lot of planning, and that search techniques we will be seeing after this particular topic is over. So I will stop here. This is the learning agent. So there are some more performance measures for the learning agent. After discussing this, we will go with search techniques. Multiple search techniques are there. Some search techniques you already know, and some search techniques are specific for AI. So we will see all those things in tomorrow's class. So I'm closing it. It's already late. Try to think of examples of these agents. Okay. Each of these agents with reference to whatever you encounter in your day-to-day activity, like say a tutor, say your recommendation. Somebody asked about a recommendation system. Say an email assist, an email composer, a personal tutor, whatever. Okay. So think of that, and we will be looking at all those in detail. So the next will be search, because we are talking about agents, where